Hey everyone, it's Synth Designer back at it with another sound design basics video. Today I wanted to talk about a couple of modulations, the pitch modulation and the level modulation, also known as vibrato and tremolo. So these are very foundational types of modulations that you'll find basically in all types of music. It's used pretty much ubiquitously throughout electronic music and all sorts of other types of music as well. When you think of vibrato, you could think of kind of a singer singing or a guitarist using little bends and stuff like that. These are just foundational aspects to music, and you'll find them everywhere. Tremolo is a little bit different. It's more of an effect that you'll see that lowers and heightens the level. Now they're pretty similar, but they have very distinct sounds, and you'll see in a minute. Now, before I get into it, I just wanted to say if you haven't checked out my previous videos on sound design basics, I highly recommend them. I go through the basics of wavetables, LFOs, envelopes, and I also show you how to create simple sounds. This will really come into handy when it comes to this video because I'm going to be using LFOs to show you how to create these modulations. So hopefully you have a basic understanding of how to use LFOs already, and it'll make this video a lot easier. Today I'm using Serum, but I'll show you that you could use these techniques in any synth. I'll actually demonstrate on Synth as well, which is another paid VST, but it's not as visual as Serum, and that's actually why I wanted to start with Serum because it's a lot more visual, so we'll be able to see exactly what we're doing. So let's get into it. Let's start off with the pitch modulation, or the vibrato. So as you can see here, it's just a very basic setup here with a simple saw wave. So we'll start off with a pad and I'll show you how that works. So what we're going to do is take LFO 1 here and set it to a quarter rate. It doesn't really matter at this moment. I'll show you how those rates change and how that affects it. But in Serum, it's super easy. You just link it over to your fine knob so you can hear it really changing. It's detuning it essentially. It's changing the pitch back and forth. Now that's not a great sound, but if you just turn it down, and now you get a really, really subtle kind of vibrato to it. And that's great for old school sounds because they had that vibrato, that richness to the wavetables that oftentimes you don't get with digital synthesizers. So it's great to have that option here. And you can mess around with the rate as well. So say you want something a little bit slower. Let's turn it up here. And the great thing is you don't have to limit yourself to one LFO. So say you want LFO 1 going at this rate, you can get an LFO 2 going at a faster rate here and link it to the same knob. So you have that kind of variation going with one going at one speed and the other going at another. And that's just a very basic way of doing it. So let's go over to Synth and I'll show you how to do it here. And the point here is that you can apply these principles to any synth, right? So let's start off here. Basic patch. Go up with the voices. Let's turn on the filter here to a low pass. And so you'll hear in Synth, you'll have to go down to the LFO here and then turn it to pitch A. And then you have to set the rate here. And then you turn up the level and the gain here. So that's really overdoing it. So we have to kind of tone it down. So it gets to that great kind of detuned sound that's really kind of old school, and all we did was turn on a simple low pass and that detuning, right? And now we all of a sudden have that great sound. So you'll have to find in your own synthesizer, whatever it is, where you have the LFO and how you can connect it to the pitch. And that's it. That's how you create that vibrato. But let's go back to Serum and get into the Tremolo. So in Serum, you can just leave the LFO one as is, and then you would link it to your level knob. Now Tremolo is a lot faster rate, so we'll have to turn up the rate here. And you could change the level just by doing this. So you could hear the subtlety there. It's just slightly wobbling back and forth. And it's as simple as that, right? Now, I'm not exactly sure where the line is drawn for tremolo. I mean, if you're just going at, say, a 2 or a 4 bar rate, I wouldn't really call this tremolo. That's just kind of level going back and forth. But tremolo needs to have some sort of speed to really have that kind of impact. And that's it here. So you have the great vibrato and tremolo set here, and you have that kind of old school sound already. And what did we do? All we did is a saw wave, a low pass filter, and put on the LFO to the fine knob and the level. I just want to go quickly right back to silent and show you that it's quite easy. You just change it here from the pitch to the volume, and then set the wave type to triangle, because that kind of gives it the up and down factor that we want, that quick up and down and the sharpness to it. So there you have it. So remember, if you want to apply tremolo or vibrato, all you have to do is find the LFO, link it to your volume or your pitch, and that's it. Then you set the rate and you set the level, and you figure that out however you want to your taste. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time.